This is Our News, the weekend edition. And on the broadcast tonight, the leader of the Progressive Liberal Party gives his view on the apology of Liberty Latin America's CEO to the Prime Minister. Find out whether he thinks it was enough. Plus, one of the unions that represents BTC workers say government should give no consideration to selling Liberty Latin America more shares.
Our News is brought to you by Alive.
Good evening, I'm Andrew Knowles, and thanks so much for joining us. Topping news this evening, opposition leader Philip Brave Davis is weighing in on the recent apology given by Liberty CEO Balin Nair, who was recently caught on camera making controversial remarks about BTC employees and Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis. But the PLP leader isn't totally satisfied with the apology. Our Jasmine Brown reports.
Davis says given the type of comments that were made, an apology may not be enough.
He has said those things. It's already in the public domain. His conduct is already there. Whether an apology, I don't know that an apology will be, is sufficient, because he was derisive of the Prime Minister of the country, not anybody, and his people, right? And as I said to him, leave that to me, all right? And I don't want Mr. Nair to be taking my job as a foreign person.
Nair apologized to the Prime Minister and the Bahamas for the remarks he made in a now viral video and for the unintended consequences as a result of those comments. In the letter, Nair said the message he was trying to convey did not come across appropriately. He also apologized for the many feelings he had hurt, saying he meant no disrespect to the Prime Minister, his office, or the citizens of the Bahamas. Nair was captured on videos which have circulated on social media joking about the performance of the Bahamas-based subsidiary and a recent meeting he had with Minnis, saying the Prime Minister was unable to look BTC's Jamaican CEO Garfield Sinclair in the eyes as they discussed BTC's Bahamian workforce. Minnis has since denied Nair's recollection of the meeting and has said the Liberty CEO called him personally to apologize. Davis says the Prime Minister is not handling the situation the way he should.
I took action when the executive from Royal Bank of Canada spoke ill of the employees of Royal Bank of Canada. And action was taken by Royal Bank of Canada after I had several meetings and discussions with them. Sadly, the government didn't do anything. So the question is, who are they representing? I represent Bahamians, be they F&M or PLP. That's why I asked the Prime Minister whether he wants me to take it up further.
Davis added he finds the whole thing less than satisfactory.
But hardly satisfactory.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Jasmine Brown.
All right, thanks a lot, Jasmine. Well, Bahamas Communications and Public Officers Union President Dino Roll is insisting the Minnis administration should not even consider selling more shares to Liberty Latin America. Roll says given Nair's controversial comments, which were captured on video that has since gone viral, the last thing government needs to do is give Liberty controlling shares of BTC.
I don't think the government should even consider any further relationship with Liberty Latin America until they live up to the current deed.
Nair was captured on videos which have been circulated on social media, joking about the performance of the Bahamas-based subsidiary and a recent meeting he had with Minnis. He has since apologized.
Well, let me say this to the government of the Bahamas first. If there is any thought or interest in this group, Liberty Latin America, further acquiring shares held by the government of the Bahamas on behalf of the people of the Bahamas, if that's a proposal that was put by Balin Nair and his grouping, or that's something that they're considering, then the Prime Minister and the government of the Bahamas know now that is not the way to go.
Meantime, the Bahamas Public Service Union is feverishly trying to bring negotiations on 2 industrial agreements to a close. The union said they are in talks with PHA as well as the Public Service Minister to finalize those 2 documents. Our Jillian Gray tells us what the union is demanding.
BPSU President Kimsley Ferguson said he is patiently waiting on the Minister for Public Service to respond with a counter-proposal. While he says they've settled on all non-financial elements, it's the matters dealing with money he says they're waiting on.
Our proposal in the first year for a $250 increase, in the second year a $2,500 lump sum payment, and in the third year of that agreement we had asked for a $200 increase to the base of everybody's salary per month, which we think is sufficing simply because it would only bring Bahamians above water to some extent as a result of the increase in VAT and the cost of living increases. And so we're hoping that the government would respond to us favorably so that persons can actually begin to live again.
The union president said he's also negotiating with PHA officials. They met this week and Ferguson said he hopes that agreement is sorted out soon.
We would have asked for an increase of about $300 in the first year, a $3,500 lump sum payment in the second year, a salary review. Also, we would have asked for an increase of $250 somewhere around about the fourth year and another lump sum payment. And we are feverishly working on the risk allowance for those persons who would have not already received the same.
Ferguson said in light of the VAT increase in 2018 and the rising cost of living, his members are in need of a pay raise. He added he hopes the agreements are signed ahead of the new school year.
Persons in the Bahamas are hurting. School is opening shortly, and we're asking for the Minister of the Public Service to respond to us, as soon as he possibly can, so that persons can begin to prepare their kids for school. And so we're asking that probably we've already been away from the table now for kind of about 6 weeks. And so we would have hoped that they would have been back to us sometime soon, but we are appealing to them to please assist us in this regard so that we can communicate to our members that relief is on the way.
Reporting for Our News Weekend, I'm Jillian Gray.
Senate Member of Parliament Reach Chipman tabled a petition in the House of Assembly for a review of the Quieting Titles Act of 1959. Chipman telling Parliament on Wednesday that the petition was signed by Bahamians concerned with land issues in the Bahamas.
This petition is from the undersigned citizens of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. This petition seeks to draw the attention of this Honorable House to the need for a review of the Quieting Titles Act of 1959 of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas and for the enforcement, amendment, and or abolishment of the Act and its related purposes retroactive.
Chipman stated that those who signed it had a number of concerns when it comes to land availability for Bahamians.
Whereas we believe the Act has allowed for foreign persons and or permanent residents to quiet land in the Bahamas to the disenfranchisement of the Bahamian people. And whereas we are unable to locate documents of companies in the Registrar's Office that would have quieted land or purchased land that was quieted. And whereas there are no restrictions on the amount of land that can be quieted. And whereas we believe in many cases the procedures and investigation processes of the Act and public gazetting is not in order with best practices.
Chipman added that petitioners also believe the act does not benefit the majority of the Bahamian people in terms of land ownership. He said petitioners also called on Parliament to establish a competent authority to eliminate deficiencies in the country's land laws. Well, still ahead tonight, the president of a major trade union calls for a national discussion on reparations. That story and more when Our News, the Weekend Edition, returns.